Okay, so today I am going to go over basic C++ programming, just a lesson. This is not just, this is, also to help myself because if I teach it, it reinforces what I already know. So, what we're going to go over today, I'm going to go over it really basic with you. Let's see if I can draw it. We are going to have this is going to be like a box, okay? Not a box, but like it's a text file, and it might have 1, 2, 3, on it, right? Well, what we want to do is be able to throw it into an array. You know what an array is? It's a thing with numbers in it, right? So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and we're going to want to be able to specify. If we want to say. I want you to take this list and give me the numbers from 2 down to 3. So you want to have the program be able to be smart enough to see this array and think, oh, we want these numbers from 2 to 3, and print them back out. Output them back out to 2 and 3, and so they write them in another list containing those numbers. So you would have 2 and 3. And this would be your original file containing, this would be just like, say, input or whatever, just put in. And this list is going to be output. Out. We'll just say out. Okay, so that's what we want to basically do, right? Okay, so now I've already done this. This is a part of my assignment, but I'm just showing you so you guys have, because this is not just for a particular assignment. This is also universal. Knowing this, you can do a lot of other things. So cd basic means change directory. We're gonna go into the lab we're in right now. Okay, so you can already see I have all these out. So when you start, you wouldn't have out. So let me just remove that real quick. It's gone. Okay, so now just to show you what's in that text. Well, I'll show you. That's what it is. It's a listed number. It's a list. Going from 1 to 9. I think it's 19. Yeah, 1 to 19, which isn't right. Hang on, let me see if I can see. Yeah, no, it goes from 1 to 20. Okay, that's what I thought it should be. So we won't have to deal with that. And that clear ls. So now let's show you our program. Now remember what I showed you earlier, where our job is to read from in.text, throw the information into an array, and then having it in an array, we can manipulate the information and how we want to output it. So if you see like a thing of numbers, what if we only wanted even numbers? How would you do that? Well, that's more advanced, but I'll go briefly into it. Basically, you would take the number, check if it's even or not, and if it's even, I guess you would like throw it into the other array, and then after you, I guess you have a second array, or you can do this in a different amount of ways. But after you put it into another array, then that's when you spit it back out into another file. So enough of me talking. I'm going to show you. So as you can see, we have put in here. We have the basic pre-processing directives, blah blah blah. Here's our main function. Now we know there is going to be 20 numbers. That's why we have a set constant number of 20. This can change in the future. You don't have to have 20, because in your file you can easily do a count using a whatever, right? So now that we got that, we ask the user, where do you want to begin? Where do you want to end? Now this hasn't been idiot proofed yet, but you can do more. You can specify, if you entered a negative number, what that would do, and you would add in the things right here. Actually, I'll do that right here. So begin. So if if begin is less than 0, so if begin is less than 0, then I want you to return a value, basically return 1 or 2. Now, I want to go over this again. The return value, it doesn't matter what you return. Now, if you have a specific function that you want to perform or calculate something, this return value will matter. But for this instance, this return value could mean a flag. If you flag it, it could be like 1 is good, 2 is something went wrong. So this is what 2 is. 2 effectively ends main. So if you end main, then it ends. So, but if you just, restart it like that, the user's not going to know what happened. Why did my computer not work? Why did it just stop all of a sudden? So, it is a good idea just to tell the user you can't enter this and the program is stopped. So, oops, what did I do there? You cannot enter a negative value. You cannot enter a negative value. Ending program. And L. Alright, so that's what that's there for. And okay, so now after we got past that part, if stream, this is basically reading files. You open the file and you go through this loop, right? So what does this loop do? So obviously, if you know what arrays are, they start with a 0th index. So that is why I is here at 0. Okay, so if you don't know what I mean, I'll show you what I mean. So if you look over here, the top is an array. The numbers on the bottom are index values, right? So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can imagine the numbers up here in the array that we have will go all the way to 20. Over here, I just written down 5 just to save time. So we have it going all the way. Let's see if I can do this. We have it going all the way to 5. Right? That's just what I have so far. Whatever. In real life, these numbers don't have to be ordered, and you would have to order it yourself. That's for sorting and all that. But I'm just saying this is an array, and these are the index values. So, what I have drawn here is what we want to do if we want to sort, basically from 2 to 4. And obviously the values from 2 to 4 are index values 1 to 3. So you see how that's a little complication right there you have to solve. Which is exactly what I have here. This is why I starts at 0, because your array starts at 0 at the 0th index. So, and then it will go all the way to I is less than the end value minus or plus 1, because at the end value plus 1, if you wanted to go from 2 to 4, you have to go to because I has to be less than, right? So you want to go from 2 to 4, so you have to go less than the 5th value. So if you choose less than, this value, so the smart thing what I can do here is I don't have to go plus 1, because what I can do is have it watch. If you remove this and you set it less than or equal to, that's the wrong order, less than or equal to, it will function regardless. So if you don't have the equal to, then you will have to add 1 because you have to check it. But if you know if it's equal to and it still satisfies your conditional, it will still run. That is a for loop, and you have to understand that. And obviously I++ is the iterator, so if you don't have the iterator, there's no point of having this. It won't do anything. So here we just initialize string line, it's just a line, right? Because we need a value, we need a variable to throw our data into. Get line, this is where actually it gets the number, it gets the value from the file that we talked about earlier, how that file had numbers 1 to 20, and basically reads the file, tosses it in a line, and now here's the important part. after we get the after we get the data, we want to throw the data that we get from the file 1 2 3 4 5, all the way to 20, into this array. This is the array we have, so we can deal with the numbers. If you don't have the array, I don't know how you would deal with the numbers. So we get the data, throw it into an array. This is what this part does, and this part is just for verification purposes, just to show the user what it's doing, what number we're on, and what the index value is. That's what I is. So if we want to make it more clear, it'll pop out, oh, number 1 is at index this, and it prints out the value, so you can do it. After that, it closes the file. So, but that's not including the loop. So the loop, basically, the for loop ends here, and so after that, basically from 4 all the way to here, the only thing we did was we tossed the values into the array. Well, now what? Now we want to be able to manipulate the array. So, like, for example, what if we wanted to go from 5 to 10? Because you have a list of numbers from 1 to 20. If you wanted to go from 5 to 10, then you only want the program to spit out numbers 5 to 10 in a new file. So that's exactly what we have here. So we're done reading the file. Closes the file. Now we're going to output of another new file. Output is a new file. It starts another for loop. Begin -1. Now why is it -1? Because if you have the begin number saying from 2 to 4, see, j -1 to j is less than or equal to n number -1. Okay. So begin -1, because the reason it's -1 is because if you look at the number of ordered list 1 2 3 4 0 1 2 3 4, you will notice that these order of numbers is just off by 1. So if you want a 2 to 4, you want 1 to 3. So if you -1, you start at 1, which basically at the index 1 contains the value of 2. So if you go from 1 to 3, you effectively can say we're going to output numbers 2 to 4 using index 1 to 3, because 1 to 3 equals 2 3 4, right? So if we want 5 to 10, we would say what? 4 to 9. But we wouldn't have to worry about doing all this math when we're using the program, because this is what the program is for. The program calculates all this out. So all the user would have to do is to specify, I want 2 to 4, and it will come out 2 to 4, because the computer will figure out, oh, it's at index 1 to 3. You don't have to. The user doesn't have to do anything. And this is where it actually spits it out. And when it is done, it returns 1. It's complete, and your program ends successfully. So now that I've explained how this thing works, we are going to demonstrate. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. We're going to save it. Yes. Now, with all programs, we have to compile it. Even if it's a small change, we have to compile it. There. It's compiled. Now we can run it. So, remember, we're going to go 5 to 10 now. And so what it does is, remember when I told you it will print out whatever it's doing, and it will show you the index is here, the index is here. So 5 was index 4. So basically it's going from 4 to 9, but it's going to print out 5 to 10. Now how do we know it printed it out? Well, you can just check the output. If you have that, we generate an out.text as we ran the program. So nano out.text. And you see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The program worked. See? We didn't have to specify 4 or 9. We just specified 5 and 10, and it did exactly 5 to 10. That is how you know your program works. And just open this file again. And we haven't checked the redundancy of this negative value, because not everyone is really bright in the head. So what if we typed in -2? You cannot enter a negative value ending program. See what happens? My checks are in place and they worked, because I'm pretty sure if you put a negative value in there and the program continued to run, you would crash. That's as simple as it is. So if you have something to stop the program, to give you an error message, well, then the user will know what they did wrong, because now you have this error message pop up. And that is the short lesson I have for today. Hope this was informative.